Morning.
Morning, sir.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
I'm also good, guys. So today we're going to do a new topic, right? But before I continue with the new topic, I actually want to ask you a question, right? So in your everyday lifestyle, how much do you think you're releasing carbon into the atmosphere? Yes,
We are doing it a lot.
yes, a lot. How? Yes,
Like bathing.
like bathing.
Yes, we contribute to it, like, because we use a lot of electricity.
Yes.
And also, which is from coal.
Correct, right? Any other way? Yes, yeah.
In transport,
Also transportation, how does it release carbon?
since there are many cars in the that not usually travel, the
Yes.
gas that is released, like there's a gas that is released when the car starts.
Yes, it's carbon dioxide.
Starting,
Yes, correct. Any other way? Yes.
Burning of woods.
Burning of wood. To do what? Do you burn wood every day? When you're cooking, maybe?
Yeah, when cooking, but say in villages,
Yes.
they use wood often compared to urban
Urban areas, correct, right? And also, you also light up bulbs every day, right? So yes, that is also contributing to carbon emissions. How? Because of lights also use electricity. Electricity is generated using what? Coal. And coal, if there's a high demand of electricity, which means that coal will be required, more coal will be required. And a byproduct of burning coal is what? Carbon dioxide is released, right? Hence why we've got a high amount of emissions in the atmosphere, correct? So now, today we're going to do a new topic, which is different land degradation that is caused by what? Development. Correct? Yes. So for the past few days, we've been talking about development, and we've also been talking about the positives of development. Can you come up with the positives of development?
The positives of development.
Yes.
we can create more job opportunities.
Yes, more job opportunities. Before, we know that development is associated with industries. That's what I was trying to explain. Development is associated with increased industrialization, and the opportunities that comes up with it is what? Job opportunities. What else? Yeah.
More educational.
More education because of people are earning more.
Yeah.
Yes, more health. More adequate health, proper health opportunities also, right? So now what we did not discuss is the negative impact industrialization brings to the environment, right? Because remember, development means the country's use of its natural resources and technology to bring about change, right? So it uses natural resources and technology to bring about change, right? Yes. Okay. So by the end of this lesson, guys, you should be able to define what land degradation is, and you should also be able to give examples of land degradation and also explain them, how they contribute to global warming or climate change, right? And also, you should also be able to deduce judgment or also give solutions to this different kinds of land degradation, right? Right? Yes. So I'm going to play you a small video that is going to talk about the impact of industrialization on the environment.
And land quality caused by human activities. It's a problem that might not make the headlines, but it's happening all around us. The main causes include deforestation, overgrazing, urban sprawl, and unsustainable agricultural practices. When cleared for agriculture or urban development, the soil loses its protective cover, making it vulnerable to erosion. Overgrazing by livestock strips vegetation, leading to barren land. Urban sprawl encroaches on fertile lands, reducing the area available for farming. Additionally, intensive farming without sustainable practices depletes soil nutrients, further degrading the land. Land degradation has severe impacts on ecosystems and biodiversity. As land quality diminishes, habitats are destroyed, and many plant and animal species are pushed to the brink of extinction. Soil erosion, one of the most visible forms of degradation, depletes the topsoil, which is rich in nutrients necessary for plant growth. Without fertile soil, plants struggle to grow, leading to a decline in crop yields and food insecurity. This, in turn, affects the livelihoods of millions of people who depend on agriculture. Biodiversity loss due to habitat destruction disrupts ecosystems, making them less resilient to environmental changes. Land degradation also affects our water resources. Degraded lands are less able to absorb and retain water, leading to increased runoff and reduced groundwater recharge. This exacerbates drought conditions and reduces the availability of clean water for communities and ecosystems. Increased runoff can lead to more frequent and severe flooding, causing damage to infrastructure and loss of life. The loss of vegetation also reduces the land's ability to filter water, leading to contamination of water supplies. Agriculture is heavily impacted by land degradation. As soil fertility declines, farmers must use more chemical fertilizers and pesticides to maintain crop yields, leading to further environmental degradation and health risks. In many developing countries, smallholder farmers are hit the hardest, as they lack the resources to adapt to changing soil conditions. Food security is a growing concern as degraded lands produce less food. With the global population continuing to rise, ensuring sustainable food production is critical. Land degradation is both a cause and a consequence of climate change. Degraded lands release stored carbon into the atmosphere, contributing to global warming. At the same time, climate change accelerates land degradation through extreme weather events like droughts and heavy rainfall. It's a vicious cycle that we must break to protect our planet. Restoring degraded lands can sequester carbon, mitigate climate change, and improve resilience to its impacts. But there is hope. Many solutions exist to combat land degradation. Sustainable land management practices, such as agroforestry, crop rotation, and conservation tillage, terracing, a practice used in hilly areas, can significantly reduce soil erosion and retain water. Policies and international cooperation are crucial in scaling up these efforts. Governments must prioritize land restoration in their environmental agendas, and individuals can make a difference by supporting sustainable products and practices. Thank you for watching. If you found this video informative, please like.
Thank you. Paul, can you give me what you've seen on the video?
The reasons for land degradation.
The what?
Reasons for land degradation.
The reasons for land degradation, which are
Erosion, fire, using of the land too much, and
those are not the reasons, they are the impacts of industrialization on the environment. But thanks for trying. What did you guys see? Yes, Princess?
From my perspective of
Yes,
land
yes.
information,
Can you?
land degradation contributes to like soil erosion
Yes.
and overgrazing of a certain areas.
Okay, correct, right? Did you also see something, observe anything? Yes?
I just want to add on.
Yes.
It also causes flooding.
It also causes flooding, correct? And we're going to discuss the details, right? So everything that you've seen here, we're going to sum it up using this diagram, correct? Yes. So looking at the diagram, these are examples of environmental damage caused by development, right? Yes. So I want anyone, if you have an interest here, you can, what are you seeing here? Yes, Princess? Deforestation. And can you please prompt us as to what part of development causes deforestation?
The reason why they deforestate is because they want more space and where they can build more industries and factories.
Yes. Now there's deforestation, right?
Yes.
Why do we deforestate? We deforestate because of with the ongoing population, and bear in mind that a lot of people are moving into urban spaces, right? Right? And then when we have urban spaces that are overcrowded, there's a need to expand. There's a need to expand the urban spaces, to expand the infrastructure so that it can accommodate the population, right? Yes. So now they clear the land, they deforestate, right? And also going to your point of increased flooding, we have plants have got the natural ability of absorbing water, right? Plants have got the natural ability of absorbing water, and then if we cut down trees, what happens? Or when we cut down plants,
There won't be any plants to absorb.
yes, there won't be any plant to absorb water, right? And there's gonna be what?
Soil erosion.
Soil erosion. And what else? What phenomenon? When it's going to rain, what is going to happen? Flooding, right? There's gonna be increased surface runoff, right? Yes, that's going to lead to flood too. And we also have farm erosion or the use of pesticides or fertilizers. Remember, we are the population is continuously growing, right? And there'll be a high demand of food and space, right? Am I wrong?
No.
Okay. There's going to be a high demand of food and space so that it accommodates the people, right? Yes. So now, the more there's an ongrowing population of people, and the more we take food, we take up land we take up land from expanding our settlements and also building industries for us to develop. We've got a phenomenon called land degradation. What is land degradation? And we once talked about it. Yes, Princess.
Land degradation is when you overuse the land and its resources.
Yes. When we overuse the land and its resources, that it can no longer be able to recover, right? Yes. So we've got farm erosion and fertilizers, right? And remember, there's high demand of food, right? Yes. And the population is also continuously growing. And now we don't have time to grow food naturally. We need to keep up with the ongoing population. So which means that there's a need to produce more food, right? What do we use? We use fertilizers and pesticides. Correct? Yes. For those that are doing agriculture should know this. Yeah? And then when we use excessive fertilizers or pesticides, what happens? For those that are doing life sciences, or if you have any knowledge, what happens?
So when you what?
When you're farming incorrectly by using excessive fertilizers or pesticides, what happens?
We are harming the soil.
You're harming the soil. Okay, the soil can be oversaturated with nutrients. But what happens to the fertilizers that were not effective?
They will stay on land, and
When it rains, yes.
it will wash it off, and then it goes to a river, and then
Yes.
another
Yes.
process goes on.
Yes, what's that process? I want that process. Yes, Yamchanda?
Eutrophication.
Eutrophication, correct. Eutrophication happens, right? Thank you for those that are doing life sciences and agriculture. You see now that there's an integration between life sciences and agriculture and also geography. Yes. So now if you overuse fertilizers or pesticides, if there's excessive rain, that fertilizers are going to seep down. You see this arrow? Are going to be swept down to the local water surfaces, and it causes a phenomenon called eutrophication. Eutrophication. Eutrophication is the process whereby there's high concentration of nutrients in water that causes a rapid growth of what? Marine plants such as algae or algae, if you want to put it in that way. So now, how does algae or algae affect water? Affect water quantity, water quality, and how does it also affect the marine ecosystem? Or the animals and plants that live in water is.
So it affects the marine ecosystem because some of these plants are beneath the water, which also needs photosynthesize.
Yes.
So having a lot of algae, it reduces the sun radiation that is going down to the.
Yes. So we now have algae, which covers the surface of water, right? It covers the surface of water. And remember, algae is what? It's a form of plant, so it also photosynthesizes, right? And remember, underneath water, we've got plants and animals too, right? So now, what happens if now the algae covers the bodies of water, right? What happens to the plant underneath?
They won't receive sunlight.
Yes, they die.
They won't receive sunlight, so they die, right? So you see that majority of the plants underneath are going to die, right? So what happens to the animal that feeds on the plant? Paul? Okay. Please.
Even the animals might die due to food shortages.
Yes, food shortages, right? So the animal that feeds on the plants, they'll also die. The animals that also die from also not eating the plants, they'll also die. So there's disruption of what?
Food web.
The disruption of food web, right? Yes. So now what happens to the water quality and quantity? Yes, Sia.
If I may try, water, due to the animals that die and
Yes.
also plants, water there won't be fresh water anymore. It will be
Yes.
full of bacteria.
Yes, correct, right? So now, which means that accessible water won't be there anymore because it's concentrated with animals that have died off and plants that have also died off, right? And also, remember, life science, how many of you are doing life sciences here? Yes. Remember in life sciences that when animals die off, they break down during the process of decomposition. And now decomposition requires what?
Oxygen.
Yes. Decomposition requires oxygen. Eh?
Yes.
Let's say oxygen in water is 15%, right? And now we've got animals that are dying off and plants that are also dying off. Now, and also there's decomposition that requires what? What?
Oxygen.
Yes, decomposition to take place so that it can break down the dying body or decomposing body, right? So it requires oxygen. So now, let's say decomposition in water requires 10% of oxygen. So you now see that the amount of oxygen that is going to be left in water is going to be 5%, right? Also, it affecting what? The changing the chemical composition of water. So the drinkable water that you would normally ingest won't be safe anymore because it won't taste the same, it won't give you the same health benefit, correct? Yes. And also as a byproduct, what during decomposition, carbon dioxide is released too, right? It's released in water. And when carbon dioxide is released in water, it also changes the natural composition of water, right? And we call the process carbonation. So the water doesn't become drinkable anymore. So you see, it reduces the quantity of water and also the quantity of accessible water to drink. Correct? Yes. So which other problem do you want to discuss here?
Overfishing.
Overfishing. We were explaining about high demand of food, which means that there's a need to what? To produce more food, right?
Yes.
And also we know that there are some of the settlements that the economic activities based on farming. So if the settlement is growing, they would have to keep up with fishing, right? So what happens to the animal, to this fish species? Yes, Paul?
They go extinct.
They go extinct, right? And they die off, right? Yes. So we're going to come up with possible solutions to this, right? And we also have got thermal or nuclear pollution from industries that produce electricity, right? Right? Remember, there's a need. We use electricity every day, and these industries also themselves use power, and the power is what? Electricity. Electricity is, which is generated by coal. You are correct, Princess. Right? So now these industries sometimes they also need electricity as a form of power, and they also need water for manufacturing, right?
Yes.
They also release intoxicated water because the water that is being used to manufacture product is dirty now.
Yes.
So they release that water to the nearest water surfaces, right? So it further pollutes water, right? Are you understanding?
Yes.
Gamo? Are you understanding? What did I say?
When they
It's okay, you're not paying attention. You see, we were saying because of industries need electricity and water, right? The water that is being used by industries, they usually dump it to the nearest water sources, right? Further polluting the water. Are we understanding? Yes, correct. So, what else? What are you seeing here?
the
Water pollution.
From what?
Oil company.
Yes, oil rig. Remember, oil is mined or quarried inside water, right? Yes. So usually there's oil rig accidents, and then we've got spillage of water, right? We've got spillage of oil into water, right? And then what impact does it have on the water? Yes.
It kills the animals in the water.
It kills animals in water. Malibongwe, do you want to give me an answer? Remember, this is the water that we drink, and this is the water that also hosts a lot of animals, right? And Princess said that it kills animals. What about us? What happens to us who wants to drink? Can we drink contaminated water? We cannot drink contaminated water, right? So it also reduces access to drinkable water.
Yes.
Correct. So what other problem are you seeing here?
Air
Oh.
pollution.
What?
Air pollution.
Yes, air pollution from industries that releases. You wanna? Okay, yes.
No, like when industries release toxic gas
Yes.
due to making some, what can I say? Let me make an example of what's this? Cement.
Yes.
Oh no, not cement. In a piping fund.
Yes.
They release a toxic gas which also
What's that toxic gas?
Carbon
Carbon dioxide. It's carbon dioxide, right? That further leads to what? To global warming. To what? Global warming. Remember, carbon dioxide is one of the greenhouse gases, right? Which means it has got the ability to absorb and retain heat, right? So, exactly. So if you have high accumulation of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, it means it becomes warm and hotter, right? And then what's global warming? Some maybe we're discussing global warming. Some of you don't know what global warming is. What is global warming? Yes.
The heating up of the atmosphere.
Or warming of the global. Thanks for trying. Is the increase in average temperatures on Earth. The increase in average temperatures on Earth. Write it down. Right? So yeah, we have now discussed a lot of problems here. Oh, we have also wetlands, right? Do you know what wetlands are? Yes, it's a kind of an ecosystem, right? How does wetland assist us? Yes.
So wetland assist us by filtering water to make it drinkable.
Yes. Wetlands is a kind of ecosystem that assists in filtering water so that the water becomes drinkable, right?
Yes.
And wetlands are a water ecosystem that are left on Earth that have drinkable access to drinkable water, right? So the more we further destroy wetlands for industrialization, it further degrades the land and also does what?
Drinkable water. There's no drinkable water.
It decreases the drinkable water also. So have we discussed everything here? Or also mining sand dunes. We mine sand dunes because of what? We use sand to do what? To build, right? Yes. But the more we are mining sand, what happens to the land?
It loses its nutrients.
It loses its nutrients and also sand and also soil, right? And what phenomenon do we have from the removal of excessive sand or soil erosion? Why are you doubting?
always do
Yes, it's soil erosion, right? So we've discussed the next this
Ozone depletion.
and ozone depletion. Do you wanna explain?
Okay, so all I know is that ozone is in the stratosphere. It's a layer of the stratosphere
Yes.
which has 3 oxygen
Atoms. Correct. Okay, so that's what she knows is
And what I know about the ozone part, after she explained what it is that ozone depletion only occurs when carbon dioxide is released to the air, which opens small spaces for for sun rays.
Yes. Remember, we have ozone layer in the stratosphere, and then ozone layer is a 3 oxygen atom, right? It's a layer made up of 3 oxygen atoms, and then when this layer protects us from harmful sunlight rays, we usually find it here, where there's airplanes. Do you see the airplanes? Yes, we usually find the ozone layer in the stratosphere, which is a layer that of the atmosphere where we find airplanes that are flying, right? Yes. So ozone layer protects us from harmful sunlight rays,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Yes. Now, if we've got industries that are emitting carbon dioxide into the atmosphere or polluting the air with carbon dioxide, it further damages the ozone layer, right? Because of remember, ozone layer is made up of 3 oxygen atoms, and we have carbon dioxide that has been emitted into the ozone layer. So now the carbon is going to react with the oxygen, the 3 oxygen atom layer. It further creates holes. It creates holes. When it reacts, it expands and creates holes. So what happens to the sun rays? They are able to penetrate the Earth's surface, right?
Yes.
So what are the impacts? Yes, Princess.
So you could get like eye infection or
Yes.
skin irritation.
Yes. We are now susceptible to skin cancer and we also get eye cataracts.
Yes.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Yes. And this also furthers the process of global warming because now we have overheating. Understanding? Light is able to penetrate through the air, right? So I've given you these papers, right? I've given you these papers, and these are also one of the examples of environmental degradations, right? And I want you guys to come up with possible solutions to this, because we've discussed, I think from grade, from senior phase, you've been discussing about solutions to environmental degradation, right? So I want you guys to come up with solutions to these scenarios that they've been given here. Then can I have group 1 and also group 2? And I want you guys to pick up possible scenarios that you're going to discuss, right? And we'll have a volunteering to answer on the behalf. Yes. Who's the leader in this group? Princess, you're gonna be the group leader. Yes. And come up with possible solutions. So I'm giving you 2 minutes and then discuss the possible solutions. Yes. Yeah. No. I don't hear you. Oh, you can. Okay, we can start. So yeah, I've given you guys 2 minutes, right? So now, and remember guys, we are not only doing this for now content. You guys are going to be the future scientists, future environmentalists, future researchers, right? I believe so, right? You need to come up with this possible preventatory measures so that you become environmentally conscious, right? We save the earth, we save the planet so that it becomes sustainable for us to use in the future. Correct? Yes. So we've got group 1 and group 2. So do you want to? Yes, we're gonna have a representative from group 2 and they're going to tell us what they've discussed on the possible solutions, right? Yes, Siamtanda. Also group 1, can you please also listen to the solutions? Yes. You pick up a scenario and then you tell us the solutions, yes.
Me and my fellow group, we picked up a scenario of some 700 million cars produce 900 million tons of carbon dioxide in 2010. There will be 1 billion cars on the road by 2025.
Yes.
So we came to a conclusion of how to resolve the
Carbon emissions, yes.
yes, which we can use alternative forms of transport.
Yes. Princess, listen.
Like using a bus instead of private instead of private transportations, we use public, which won't emit a lot of carbon dioxide.
Correct, right. So yes, Siamtanda's group says that with the possible emissions of carbon dioxide by cars, they say they'll come up with alternative forms of transportation, like using bicycles and also using public transport instead of private transport, right, to decrease carbon emissions. Correct. So another one, another scenario that you guys chose, or should we give yes princesses?
So me and my group, we chose the scenario of people who live in an industrialized country probably have between 70 and 90 industrial chemicals and pollutants flowing through their body.
Yes.
So I and my colleague came up with that they should build industries and factories far away from the settlements.
Correct, right? So Princess is already a scientist. He has a colleague, right? And they say they're going to build industries and factories away from human settlements, right? Because according to the scenario, 70 to 90 industrial chemicals and pollutants are flowing through people's bodies, right? So a better way is that there should be a land reserved for human settlements and also a land for industrialization, right? Correct. So is there any other scenario that you want to take on?
Yes.
Yes.
Some 75% of fish stock in the world is either exploited or recovering from exploitation.
Yes.
We came to a conclusion that they should ban on the species that are being more overfishing.
Yes, you could put on fishing regulations, right? To ban people from fishing animals or fishes that are that are endangered or that are under the threat of being extinct, right? Yes. And also, what can you do? And also, one possible solution that you can come up with is you can also regulate fishing by how? You say if sardines maybe have got 30% of sardines in water, right? You can say you can fish 10% of it or 20% of it and give 10% of it so that you can be able to naturally reproduce and also create more fishes, right? Yes. That's called regulated fishing, yes. Yes.
We have another scenario.
Yes, Chanda's group also have got another solution.
Which is, it's about, at the present rate of use, 5% to 10% of tropical forest species become extinct every year.
Yes, extinction of, we have got at the present rate of use, 5% to 10% of tropical forest species become extinct every decade. Is possible solution?
Our possible solutions
Yes.
is that we conserve natural environment that hosts endangered species and also have limitations to deforestation. Correct.
Thank you, Nick. And they say the possible solution is that there should be a land conservation, right? That actually hosts animals that are extinct, that are susceptible to extinction, right? So remember, there are some animals are only adapted to certain kinds of land, right? So even if you take them to some parts of the land, they won't thrive. Correct. So now, if we have got species that are only adapted to living here, you can conserve the land. This land is not touched at all, right? Yes. And we also say that, he also said, we should also put restrictions to deforestation. Yes. And what else? What scenario do you want to tackle? Yes.
1 billion birds and mammals die each year from indigested plastic.
Yes.
So
this is, sorry to disturb you, this is pollution, right? Land pollution. So what
they came to the conclusion that we should do more recycling.
Yes.
And also to the waste materials, they should be recycled, and also we could use that plastic to create art.
You see, thank you. Princess is also saying that because of we've got birds and mammals that are dying from ingesting this plastic, right? What can we do is we can recycle that plastics and all those waste materials, right? And what can we use it for? Princess came up with an innovative idea of taking and recycling that materials and use it to create craft work, right? And that can also benefit us as people because we can sell that artwork and make profit out of it, right? And better ourselves. Correct. Thank you, Princess. Any other ones that you want to tackle? So is it all? So okay. So thank you. So I'm pretty much sure that you guys are done with the. Okay, is there anyone who have got a question? Do you have a question? Okay, what have you learned today? Anything that you guys have learned? Yes, young Tana.
I learned about land degradation.
Yes, that.
That it's when we overuse the land and its resources.
Yes, when we overuse the land and its
That cannot
resources.
recover.
Yes, and it also cannot recover. Yes.
I learned about the impact of land degradation.
Yeah, the impact of industrialization, right? That causes what? Land degradation, right? Yes, that's what he has learned. Gamu, what have you learned today?
I learned about soil erosion and overgrazing of animals overgrazing the land, causing it to be soil erosion.
Yes, thank you, Gamu. Gamu also talked about one of the important things that he also learned about overgrazing, right? That leads to soil erosion or degradation of land, right? And what's the possible solution to overgrazing? What's a possible solution to overgrazing? Remember, if we've got, let's say this is a large piece of land, and we've got cows that just randomly overgraze, right? And then what can we do to stop overgrazing? Yes, yeah.
Explain the term
Overgrazing. Overgrazing is when Gamu, do you want to answer it, please?
Overgrazing is whereby certain animals eat the grass and leave the land without anything.
Thank you, Gam, right? So if we now have overgrazing, that the livestock eat every grass here that is unable to make itself reproduce or grow naturally themselves, what can we do? The possible solution is, or you want to give me an answer?
I don't.
Yes, Gam?
Can we try saying?
Yes, you can try.
I'm sure when there's a certain time when it's raining,
Yes.
there is over grass.
Yes.
I feel like you must take the grass and dry it and keep it maybe in the storage for the when there is drought.
Drought, okay.
Yeah, you give it to the animals when it's dry. You take it from the storage and give it to the animal than them eating on the lands.
Okay, that's a solution that for animals that are able to, or livestock that are able to eat grass that has dried off, right? So yeah, that's a possible implementation, right? But also there's something called, you wanna try? Oh, there's also something called rotational grazing, right? Remember, this is a large patch of land, right? So you can say now, this week, cows are going to graze on this patch of land, right? Next week, they're going to graze on this patch of land, right? And when they're feeding on this patch of land, this one is recovering, it's now growing, right? Yes, and so forth. So this is rotational. The cows or livestock are rotating, right? So that the land that they've previously eaten on, they can grow, right, naturally. So that's what Gava has also learned. And this is what, remember, it's rotational grazing. Right? Yes. So, I'm pretty much sure you understood. We know what land degradation is, and we have discussed different kinds of land degradation here, right? Yes. And also we came up with possible right? So I'm actually going to give you homework in your focus textbook on page 214 is your homework, right? So thank you for today's lesson.
Thank you